Welcome to our next Social Sunday project put on by the Milton Artists Guild. This week we are doing sock puppets. It's important during this project we'll be using glue to have something down on your surface protecting your table. In your kit you're going to have 2 socks, a black sock and a white sock, a small piece of feather boa, pipe cleaners, googly eyes, pieces of cardboard, and pieces of felt and glue. Oh, you also have a pom-pom. And from your house, you're going to need a pair of scissors and a pen. To start off, this is a puppet I made previously. We're going to make the mouth. And you'll see it's this oval that's smaller than the sock. And we're going to cut an oval out that is smaller than the palm of your hand. And if you lay out your sock, you can see how wide it needs to be. So I'm going to just draw an oval using kind of my sock as my guide. And then I'm going to check it against the size of my hand, maybe a little bit too long. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut it out. I'm looking at it, checking the placement, fits in the palm of my hand, fits in my sock. So next I'm going to decide what the color is going to be for the inside of my mouth. So I think the inside of my mouth I'm going to make yellow. So here's my yellow. I'm going to cut off a piece. You can trace this with your pen. It doesn't have to be perfect, just enough to get a good representation. And then we'll cut it out. And then we will glue it onto our piece of cardboard. We're going to have a lot of wet pieces in this project, so we'll be setting them aside to dry. And now we're going to work on making our tongue. So we're going to fold this in half just to get a representation. Our tongue should sit in here and then stick out. So I'm going to, using this kind of as a guide, draw a tongue that has a large rectangle base. And that's what's going to hold it into the center of the seam. And then I'm going to make a big tongue that comes out. Yours could be pointed, yours could be snake-like, whatever you want your character to be. And then we're going to cut this out. So here's our tongue, and we're going to glue it into the center seam. And now we'll set this aside to dry. So this will be our mouth, and we will eventually stick this onto the sock. Okay, so next step is we're going to take our googly eyes and surround them with pipe cleaner. So we have 2 googly eyes here, and let's see, I'm going to use this teal pipe cleaner. I'm just going to measure, bending it, going around the eye, how long this has to be. So this googly eye has a lip here on the edge, and you can go around this lip, place this glue. If you get glue on the solid surface of the plastic of the eye, when it's dry, you can scrape it off. And then I'm going to bend this close, a little bit closed, and stick it down onto our eye. Okay, and so we'll let that dry. Now you certainly have things in your kit do exactly what I'm doing, but there's a ton of fun of things around your house like yarn, paper, where you can add to and decorate your puppet, make him have his own personality. Okay, I'm going to set this one to dry. I have these both covered. So now you're going to set these things aside, making sure they're not stuck down, and let them completely dry before you continue on with your project. So you're going to put your sock on your hand. If your sock has a heel, this one really doesn't. But if your sock has a heel bend, you want to have it be on the top of your hand. And then you're going to pull this sock onto your hand and kind of cup and make like a C. So the top of your fingers are up here, your thumb is down here, and this is how we're going to move our mouth. So we want to glue our mouth in here so that it's inside like this. So this is the placement that we want to put our mouth. Now if you're finding your mouth's a little bit too big in your hand, so you see how mine's sticking out here, you can cut this down in size a little more so it fits a little better into your sock. So I'm just going to take a little bit off the bottom where mine was sticking out a little bit. And then we have our mouth. So I'm going to put this face down and I'm going to put some glue on it. This is the one spot in this project where you don't want to be shy and glue. You need this to stick to your sock, and you want to make sure you get all the way out to the very edge of this cardboard and in the felt and spread your glue out. Okay, so I'm going to put my sock back on my hand to get a good placement. I'm going to make a cup. I pull this up, got this on evenly on the ends, got my tongue on the bottom. I'm going to set this in here where it needs to go. I'm going to close my hand and just slowly take it off. And now I can lay this down and spread out my sock, and I have it placed where I want it to be. It's nice and flat, and you can spend time and let this dry. So now we can work on his face while this is drying. So in your kit you have a pom-pom that you can use for a nose. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner for a nose. So I'm going to make it a little bit more like a beak. So I'm just going to now round this out, make a long oval. Just going to make a little beak. And then I'm just going to bend it just a little bit so that it's kind of got an arc. And then this is going to be my nose or beak. Now on this puppet I put these feathers as his hair. So you can put these feathers, you have a solid string in the center, on as his hair. Or you can pull these feathers off and use them individually. You can make him have a mustache. That's maybe what we'll do. Maybe this guy, he's going to have a mustache and then he's going to have hair. So when this is dry, you're going to put it back on, line him up. This will be his tongue. And now you can work on the placement of his face. So now you're going to carefully take your hand out, go really slow, and you're going to sit and let this dry. So here we go. We got our sock puppet and our other second sock puppet. I hope you have a fun time creating your sock puppet and utilizing items in your house or in a kit to create some fun personality. Thank you very much.